Knon 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
Good morning, it's the Workers Beat. 972-647-1893 is our number. I'm Gene Lantz, and
I'm Bonnie Mathias.
There's a whole bunch of stuff coming up for working people to go to. Things that you won't hear on any other station. On June the 3rd at 4:15 in Fort Worth at the Amon Carter Museum, 3501 Camp Bowie Boulevard, 76107. This is going to be an action for the Walmart workers. And another one is going to be a little closer to Dallas. It'll be in Arlington at 6 o'clock that same day, June the 3rd, 915 East Randall Mill Road in Arlington, 76011. For information on both of these, call William Cox, 281-684-1461. That's William Cox at 281-684-1461. I'm going to talk some more about Walmart in a little while. But let's go on with things you can do. On June the 11th, the Anti-Privatization, Anti-ALEC Coalition meets at 6:30 at 1408 North Washington in Dallas. The next day, on June the 12th, at 7 o'clock, they're having a teach-in and a concert with Ann Feeney. Believe it or not, Ann Feeney's on the road again, and she's been on this program several times, and she's done a lot of concerts around working people's causes in Dallas area. You want to catch Ann Feeney if you possibly can. The concert starts at 7:30, and that's at 1408 North Washington on June the 12th. I don't have a phone number for that one, but we can talk with Rosemary Rieger about that in a minute. We do have an email address for information, and that's Leslie Harris at jharris866 at AOL.com. J. Harris is Harris, 866 at AOL.com. I wonder why her name is Leslie Harris, but her email is J. Harris. Do you think she's incognito?
Maybe.
Maybe she's incognito.
Maybe she's hiding from the
On
NSA.
June the 7th, there will be the expiration of the contract with between CWA and Alcatel, covering about 1,000 installers. I don't think this is local. I don't think that the Alcatel workers locally have a contract that runs out on June the 7th, but there's a whole lot of retirees, Alcatel-Lucent retirees in North Texas that would be interested in that fact. They had a big rally about it nationwide, and that came from CWA News. Our guest today is Rosemary Rieger. Good morning, Rosemary.
Good morning, Gene. Good morning, Bonnie.
Good morning.
What's your position in the world?
I'm an organizer with North Texas Jobs with Justice.
You've been doing a lot of work with the AFL-CIO.
That's correct, yes. So I split my time with AFL-CIO in Dallas and Jobs with Justice.
Okay, and so a lot of that is overlaps because it's all stuff that working people are interested in and need to have happen.
Right. What we're trying to do is, engage with the community and make connections there, get the community involved in labor issues, get labor involved in community issues.
Is it working?
It is, yeah.
I never saw it work like it's working now.
Me neither. Isn't it exciting?
We've been talking about this for 30 years at least, since 1995, and now it's really happening.
That's right.
I think a lot of that is credit to Mark York, who is now the principal officer of the Dallas AFL-CIO, but a lot of credit goes to National AFL-CIO and National Job with Justice and Local Job with Justice, which is sitting here in front of me, Rosemary Rieger. Now, let's touch, before we get off on the main project you're working on, let's talk some more about Walmart, because I know you've been working on Walmart for a long, long time. I just got a bunch of figures on Walmart. Their profits are $16 billion a year. Mm-hmm. $16 billion with a B dollars per year. Of that, $7 billion comes from subsidies and tax breaks that benefited them. And the amount of wealth that they have piled up, $144 billion, which is as much as the bottom 42% of all Americans combined. So if you took the whole United States, 42% of them, and added together all of their money, it would come out the same as the 5 members of the Walton family.
Yeah, I think there's 6, but there's
6 of them.
6 Waltons.
Oh, they have to share.
Much.
What a shame.
Yeah.
But altogether, they add up to 42% of how much of all the combined wealth of all American people. That's their houses, their cars, whatever they've got in the bank, and whatever else they have. And now the last and final, and most important figure. Less than $25,000 is what most Walmart workers make for an annual wage.
Right. I think the average is around 15,000 for a Walmart worker.
So anyway, we know it's less than 25,000 just from what I got here over the internet. While they're making $16 billion in profits, they're paying their workers less than enough to live on.
That's right.
So are you going to be going to these Walmart actions on June the 3rd?
You bet. You bet. I'll be there, and we're inviting everyone, the community, to come and support the Walmart workers, members of Jobs with Justice, members of all different groups here in Dallas will be there. And because we need to stand up for these workers, and the workers that have spoken out have been retaliated against. Yeah. They've been silenced. They've been fired.
Some of them fired. Yeah,
that's right. And that's of course kind of demoralizing for the others to see that happen. But a lot of these workers are still there and fighting to get better pay, more transparency in their scheduling, and
some of them went to jail.
That's right.
In fact, you went to jail.
That's right.
That's right. You went to jail. I forgot you went to jail, Rosemary. That's right.
Bonnie, are you going to the things on June 3rd?
I'm going to try to make the one in Arlington.
Okay, that's
sure
in Arlington at 6 p.m. at 915 East Randall Mill Road. What's the nature of these things? What's going to happen? Do you know?
Well, this coming week will be the shareholders meeting in Bentonville, Arkansas, and
that's June 6th.
That's June 6th. So on June 3rd, following up to the shareholders meeting, workers want to set the stage and want to let Walmart know that they don't want to take it anymore, and it's unfair. It's unfair that the company profits over this business model that keeps worker wages low, so that and workers can't afford to pay their rent. They can't afford to feed their children. A lot of them need to rely on public assistance like food stamps, and so all that money goes back into Walmart too. So
I know that they're asking for $1. They have this program to get $1 for contributions, and I think it's For Respect is the name of the website.
ForRespect.org.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because these guys, some of them are fired. And none of them makes more than $25,000 a year, and yet they're going to go to Benton, Arkansas on these buses. There's thousands and thousands of them are going to go to Bentonville, Arkansas for the shareholders meeting. So they got to raise the money somehow to do that.
That is so cool.
Right.
I didn't know if they were going to go again this year. I'm glad. Yeah. I hoop they have a larger contingent this year than they did last year.
And they also
it was big last year.
Yeah, it was.
There's a website. If it's https donate.changewalmart.org/Texas, and there you can actually go and donate money to our Walmart fund, and that'll go into a strike fund for workers that are striking on strike, and a fight back fund.
Okay, I wish them very well, but we can't here on KNON. We can't raise money for any other causes.
Oh, okay.
So
sorry about that.
Anyway, no, it's all right. People should support the Walmart workers and certainly turn out on June the 3rd, either in Fort Worth at 3501 Camp Bowie, or in Arlington at 915 East Randall Mill Road. Now, the one in Fort Worth is at 4:15 p.m. at the Amon Carter Museum. I don't know why they're having it there. The other one, 915 East Randall Mill Road, that's probably a Walmart.
It is, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think the Amon Carter Museum has ties to the Walton family somehow.
Yeah.
I believe that's one.
They're big contributors to the museum.
Mm-hmm. They come up quite a bit, as to what they do with their money. And a lot of it goes into right-wing politics. In fact, they're big supporters, are they not, of ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council. Is that not true, Rosemary Rigger?
Yeah, Walmart was a part of ALEC and pulled out, I think it was in 2012, but since ALEC is still a secretive group in a lot of ways, it's, we think, or it's probably very likely that the Waltons still contribute to this group, but they don't have to
disclose,
right?
And they're not required to disclose their donors.
That's right.
So it's just one big secret as to who is actually contributing. We know of a few of the bad players, but it's a secret. It's just like the
everything they do is secretive.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Trans-Pacific Partnership, another big secret. Mm-hmm. And all of these things are aimed at hurting working families,
right,
and keeping them down.
That's a true fact. Go ahead, Rosemary.
ALEC it's the acronym for the American Legislative Exchange Council, and like we said, they've been secretive. They were founded about 40 years ago, and it wasn't until recently that the Center for Media and Democracy and other groups like Occupy smoked them out and brought it to light that this group brings together corporate lobbyists and our elected officials, and they get together secretly in back rooms and they put together these model bills that are to the benefit of corporations.
Daryl Sullivan calls it a dating service for right-wing politicians and major corporations. Mm-hmm. In other words, they put the right-wing politicians and the major corporations together so that the politicians who've got these crazy ideas can get the stuff passed with billions of dollars of corporate money. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In fact, it's another way to put it is this is how the 1% gets things done. Because the 1% with their billions is not just sitting around doing nothing, and yet what they do is shrouded in mystery. Most people have no idea how they influence or how they put their program into effect. Well, we found out recently that the model is ALEC.
That's right.
The American Legislative Exchange Council. They work up right-wing legislation, anti-union legislation, anti-senior legislation, bringing up pharmacy prescription drug prices instead of bringing them down, privatizing the prisons, privatizing the schools, things that working people don't like and that are not good for working people, but are very good for corporations. Yeah. And they put together that with the legislators who carry the legislation written at ALEC meetings and carry it into the state legislators and get all this terrible stuff done. Right,
and that's because they're funded by large groups like you mentioned pharma, big pharma like Pfizer and Lilly, they're Johnson & Johnson, other big corporations like Bank of America, IBM, General Electric, Target. I think Google, there's actually, if you Google and ALEC, there's a petition going around to ask Google to stop supporting.
That broke my heart because I really like Google.
I know, me too.
And Facebook too. They're both supporters of ALEC as presently. Another previous supporter that would shock a lot of older people is that the AARP, which is considered to be the largest group representing seniors, has actually in the past supported ALEC, and that's a real shock because ALEC's always been for higher prescription prices, and they've always been on the side of the insurance companies, not on the side of the seniors. So as one of the seniors that's worrying about these things, I was really shocked to see their name on a previous list. But after the word started to get out about ALEC, some of the corporations started pulling back, didn't they?
Right, yeah, and I think it's over. I saw a number like 126 companies have pulled out since the Center for Media and Democracy and others have highlighted this. There's a great website called ALEC Exposed, and if you go on there, it's just a wealth of information, anything related to ALEC. But since this has started and these groups have started exposing the what ALEC does and their agenda, lots of large companies have pulled out because of public pressure, and they are in a financial crisis a bit. Because of all these corporations not funding them.
How can they afford to stay at the Anatole?
Yeah,
Well,
that's.
I would say the financial crisis affects them all that much because all they basically do is they just hold these meetings, and they're secret meetings, so it's not like they have to rent the Taj Mahal or something. In fact, they're renting the hotel here in Dallas when they come on July 30th. What plans are being made about that, Rosemary Rigger?
The plans are a big fight back, and so we have some. We're making plans. I can only tell you to save the date, July 30th, and we plan to get together around 11 and be together, have workshops, have speakers, have a protest, and until about 3:30 on July 30th. So save the date, and we'll let you know.
Do we know if any big speakers are coming in? Or if there's any national attention being paid to this? Because ALEC is a national organization working in various state legislatures around the country. So have we gotten any national attention?
We have national attention. We have national AFL-CIO, national groups like the Center for Media and Democracy, Color of Change. I don't want to leave anybody out, but all the big major groups, environmental groups, civil rights groups.
What's ALEC got to do with the environment? How does that fit in?
Well, like all the laws that ALEC likes to push through, big oil corporations like Exxon, who they just had their shareholder meeting.
They don't want to stop polluting.
Right,
No.
and so they want to push through their agenda, have laws that benefit them, and that's like ExxonMobil wants the pipeline, wants.
Let's put it more directly. They want to pollute.
They want to pollute.
And they have
no
hired ALEC to
restrictions,
give them
Yep.
the ability to pollute. We'll be right back after this break. So we love Saturday morning.
Yes, we do.
972-647-1893. We got so engrossed in talking with Rosemary Rigger, we forgot it's a talk show.
Oh, yeah. Hello.
People are
We're
supposed
back.
to call with their opinions, 972-647-1893. We talked a little bit about Walmart, and then we noted that Walmart was a major supporter of ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council, with Rosemary Rigger. And then Rosemary has been telling us a little bit more about what we kind of expect to happen on July 30th when ALEC holds its national convention in Dallas. Isn't that something to be ashamed of? Aren't you kind of sorry sometimes when things like this happen?
Well, they're supposed to be making a decision within the next couple of weeks as to whether or not the GOP convention is going to be here in 2016. Oh,
because
my
of the big
God.
money. It's because of the big money. Even the most crazy people that you hear, in Kentucky or North Carolina or someplace, they come here to Dallas to fill their pockets.
Yep, that's
and
right.
so that's why ALEC is coming here, and that's why the grand old party is talking about coming here, because not because of us. It's not to our notoriety and our shame. It's because there are so many rich, crazy people that live in Dallas.
Is that it?
It's just got more money than God, and they give it away to these horrible organizations like, for example, ALEC. Rosemary Rigger is heading the coalition that is trying to pull together a protest against ALEC when they come here on July 30th, and we're saying that the coalition's going pretty good, right?
That's right. We're lots of groups here in Dallas, and we're coming together. And I think what's really important is that we're coming together, and the people that are upset about this are your average citizen. We're infuriated about this, that ALEC gives our elected officials not only big campaign checks, but they get these deals, these extravagant, all expenses paid, vacation junkets, and then they come together and they put together these laws that benefit corporations and not us. These politicians should represent us and not corporations.
I think some people would find that kind of hard to believe. Sandra's on the line? Okay, bring her on. Thanks for calling KNON. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. The mayors, the National Mayor Conference is going to be here June 20th. And I think that what we need to do is start organizing. Right now, it's almost too late, but still enough time. There's 3 weeks for us to have some kind of demonstration on June the 20th to let all of the mayors that are coming into Dallas and the GOP and the ALEC group and all the groups that are going to be coming for the Convention Business Bureau, that Dallas is not a transparent city. It's not a fair city. And, you know, that Mayor Rollins and his government are just about PR. Mm-hmm. And they need to see, when they come to the city, they need to see the other side. So would y'all think about doing something like that?
That's a great idea. Do you know any more about their conference, or is it going to be at the downtown?
Yes, it's going to be at the Convention Center June 20th through Monday. So June 20th is a Friday. The 21st is a Saturday. And also, by the way, that is the school board election for DISD. I'm supporting Joyce Foreman, and I know that she's been a friend of the labor movement and worked very closely with the educators, and certainly deserving of our vote. She certainly would be representing the people, and that's something rare that you find in people who are offering themselves for candidacy.
All right.
But we really do need, I mean, I'm talking to Reggie Ruffman. I'm going to call Reverend Wright. I'm going to call everybody and see if we can put something together, because one of the reasons why the mayor is keeping it very, very quiet, of course, is that, you know, he's painted Dallas as this just really great, perfect city, and they've been putting together documentaries, and they had a big conference or kickoff Thursday. And it's supposed to be 238 people who were appointed to a poverty task force. Was Labor invited to be part of that, to talk about what are the causes of poverty? Huh?
I guess we were.
Rosemary is nodding. She says yes, they were invited.
Yes, Mark York.
Y'all were invited?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's what Rosemary
great.
says. Okay.
Oh, great. Can we get a report from Rosemary or somebody in your group to tell us about what contributions or what direction, or do y'all need any support in this? Do you think they're going to listen, or is this just some more talk, or what?
Yeah, I think it was on Thursday or Friday.
It was
so
Thursday.
I'm Thursday. So I haven't heard anything yet.
They haven't made any decisions yet.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks, Sandra, for calling. And other people can call, too, at 972-647-1893. The mayor kind of plays a role in all of this, doesn't he, Rosemary Rieger? Because he's the big supporter of the idea of privatizing the Dallas schools.
That's right. There's another a kind of ALEC agenda issue, and that's school privatization. Mm-hmm.
ALEC wants to privatize the schools. So does this group called Sabotage Our Public Schools, SOPS. And so does Mayor Rawlings.
That's right, Mike Morath on the.
And I have a notion that when ALEC holds its conference, that the mayor will be on hand to welcome them to Dallas.
I'm sure.
Probably, yeah.
So that's why
Come on, buddies.
That's why the Texas Alliance for Retired Americans has a petition asking Mayor Rawlings to back off on school privatizations and do not welcome ALEC to Dallas. You know, it's shameful enough that they're coming here, but we know they're coming for the rich people, not for us. And but for our mayor that we voted for, the elected official, to go out there and welcome them would be just a big insult for the people of Dallas. And so I'm hoping that Mayor Rawlings listens to the petitions that the people that say back off on both of those things. Don't privatize the schools and don't welcome ALEC. This is an interesting problem, though, because we were talking about a big coalition of people that are protesting ALEC. But there's also another big coalition in town that is fighting to privatize against the privatization of the schools.
Right.
And Reverend Barnett's talked about that quite a lot on his show, but that comes before this one. So how do they relate? Do you think the two will come together?
Yes, and there's a lot of overlap in terms of people who are on the Our Community, Our Schools coalition, and on the anti-ALEC, anti-privatization coalition. And as far as, the anti-privatization coalition goes, we see that, privatizing the schools is a part of what ALEC is trying to do, and so we're trying to make people aware of what's going on there, and that there is a big connection between these.
You think our community, our school people will come out to protest ALEC?
Yes. I mean, they see the connection too, that it's all one big push to take public monies, and funnel it to private corporations for these corporations to benefit from that, and so that's like a red line that goes through everything.
Do you go to both coalitions?
I do, yes.
So Rosemary Rieger is a connection between both of these separate. They're more or less separate coalitions with separate causes, but the cause kind of comes together because. School privatization is an issue in Dallas being initiated by another organization, but that same organization is just like ALEC.
And their ties to
and their connections.
Yeah, so John Arnold, who's the Houston billionaire who has bankrolled the petition drive for the home rule charter school district. He has a foundation, the John and I forgot his wife's name, John and something.
I think it's Brenda. John and Brenda.
Arnold Foundation, and the Arnold Foundation gives money to ALEC, so there are direct ties.
And just so we refresh people's memories, John Arnold made his billions. He sucked it out of Enron just as they were imploding.
Yeah, when Enron went under, he floated away with billions of dollars,
which was people's pensions. And their retirement.
And since then, he's spent his main effort at trying to privatize people's pensions.
Yep.
That's one of the things you can expect when schools get privatized. You can expect them to be going after teachers' pensions, just as they have been in Detroit, where the main cause of the bankruptcy there was to try to get people's pensions away from them and privatize that. They can't do too much with a public pension, but when they can privatize it, they can move the money around from one stock to another one, and they can make big commissions. They can make a lot of money out of it, so they're trying to turn everything into a profit center, and that's what Mr. Arnold has made the cause of his life, to take away people's pensions. And there's billions and billions and billions of dollars involved in taking away people's pensions, even though it may only be a few hundred for each pensioner, but it adds up. So this is the secret agenda, I think, behind a lot of what's happening with the public schools and with any kind of public employees, anything state or national or anything that employs a lot of people that have pensions. They want to take those pensions away and put them into the private realm, put them in the stock market, and start taking their cut out of it.
And I think since aren't pensions now, the way they're run is that you have pretty much a guaranteed, income when you're retired. But if your income is, tied to a 401k plan, then it goes like how the stock market goes. So in 2008, when the stock market tanked, a lot of people lost more than 50% of their 401ks, the value sunk, and so now all of a sudden, you have
no money,
and you don't know if the stock market's going to recover, so you don't.
And how do you make that up if you're
not working
60 years old or 65, you're not working? How do you make that up? You can't. You have to go back to work.
You have to work at Walmart.
972-647-1893 is the number. Millions of people do work at Walmart. I don't think that was their first choice, but some of them are happy with it. But and they can always find somebody that'll say, "Oh, I love it here." But
yes, they certainly
can. You can find a kiss up in any job.
It's amazing.
Yeah, Walmart is the largest private employer in
not just
the
here,
US.
but in the world.
And in the world, and it's also the largest employer for women, and so these low wages really hurt women. And
972-647-1893.
And they don't have to pay the same amount to men as they do to women, because there's no union there. So there's no guarantee that you're going to get 40 hours a week. There's no guarantee that you're going to have health care. You're probably not going to have enough hours to pay for the health care that they do offer. And the consequences are we are giving Walmart a tax subsidy every single day. $7
billion a year, according to the IDSIL's communications. Yeah, that's the amount of subsidy that they get.
$7 billion a year.
That contributes a lot to their $16 billion worth of profits.
Oh, that's so nice.
So that would
yeah.
be like 35% of their annual profits actually come from taxpayer subsidies.
Lord help us.
And yet they still don't contribute to KNON.
I know. That is just so wrong.
Yeah, I know. By the way, people did contribute to KNON. They made a pledge. If they want to send that pledge in, they could send it to KNON at 5353 Maple Avenue, Suite 200, Dallas, Texas, 75235. And we wish you would.
Yes, please. And if you made a pledge, please pay it, because that's we depend on that.
We depend on it to stay on the air.
That's right.
That's true.
It's important.
972-647-1893. We're talking to Sister Rosemary Rieger with Jobs with Justice, and also affiliated with the AFL-CIO of Dallas, about the amazing changes in the labor movement and about the protests coming up against the American Legislative Exchange Council. Is this what makes this such a big deal? Why is it that people from all across the country are interested in this?
Well, people are interested in it because ALEC is so big and so bad, right? ALEC gets our elected officials together with, with corporate lobbyists, and then behind closed doors, they come up with these bills such as, the voter ID law, restricting people's rights, making it difficult for people to vote. And it's not, it's targeted. It's not just any voter, but it's, the majority is poor people, people of color. And so these laws like that is what gets us upset.
Is there a civil rights reason to oppose ALEC?
Yes, for like
Bonnie wants to talk about
that. Well, the laws that they're also drafting have to do with voter suppression.
That's right.
The voter ID bill here in Texas is a direct result of ALEC's interference in our legislative system. It's ridiculous. And I loved it because one of the man that actually drafted the original legislation went to vote, and he didn't have his ID. But, it was great because he had his staffer just run out to the car and get it. So, I know that all of us would do that, right? Just have our staffer go run out to the car and get it.
So you can trace the bills on decreasing democracy.
Yes.
Higher drug costs.
Yes.
Worst racism. Well, we have somebody online too? Yep. Okay, good. Call 972-647-1893, and thanks for calling KNON. Good morning.
Hello.
You're on the air.
Good morning.
Glad to hear from you.
This is Suzanne. I wanted to say that I'm 54, and I have been trying very desperately to get a job. I'm single, and you just can't get them out there, so I would... A lot of times, if they have a choice between a 35-year-old and a 54-year-old, they're going to pick the 35-year-old. But what I'd like to encourage is the churches, if they have any jobs whatsoever for people who are unemployed, helping clean the house, work on a car, anything, to really try to keep that in mind. Because, the churches they just feel like they're overburdened and they can't do a lot of help. But you can hire unemployed people for different services. So that's what I would like to say.
Thank you so much. It's absolutely criminal the way the current recession has left especially older workers high and dry. The millions of people who did not get a job during this recession or lost their jobs during this recession. Many of them are older, over 50 or so.
Over 50, that's right. Because we're not older, we're just over 50.
It's a shame of this. It's a shame of this nation to have left all these working people behind.
Yes.
I think I hear the music. We're going to take a break. 972-647-1893. This is the Workers Beat. I'm Gene Lantz. We talk about things that affect workers here. And we were talking about the connection between the American Legislative Exchange Council and the Sabotage Our Public Schools group that is here in Dallas trying to privatize the schools. And Rosemary, can you give us some idea how that would work?
Right. So, in terms of privatizing, what is going to happen now is that the trustees are appointing a 15-member committee to draw up this charter, and so
they didn't want to, but they have to by state law.
Right, but here's, if we're talking about privatization, and what's happening is that there's less of a democratic process now in drawing up this charter. So people are being appointed, not elected, but appointed to this committee, and that will write this charter, and the charter is like the whole governing structure of DISD. Curriculum, everything is in there.
The mayor thinks he's going to get to appoint them. I think that's why he's so interested in this. I think he's figuring he's going to have a lot of influence on these appointments.
Right, and you can apply if you go to dallasdisd.org. You can actually apply, and we encourage parents who have children in the schools to apply. And we don't know if you'll be appointed, but it would be good to have a good pool of people who actually have ties to the school. And
well, that's a requirement, right? That they actually have to be parents with children in the school.
So just some of them.
Some
right.
Yeah.
And then the other ones they have to be racially, to represent the racial makeup of the district.
Right, but you can have overlap. You could be, an African American or Hispanic parent of a child,
but
and then you would,
when you're talking about $1.2 billion, you don't think you could buy people to take those spots and still vote for everything the corporations want.
Oh, yeah, and that's, a lot of the school board trustees now get PAC money and things like that, so...
So it's bad enough now with the school board elections being bought by big corporations, but at least the school board is elected. They're not appointed.
Right. They're elected, and we elect them.
So it'll turn into private hands because of the money.
That's right.
Once you take it away from the electoral system, once you take it away from the democratic system, the big money will have its say. And the big money will be running it, and that's what they're after.
Right, and then the big money can be put into educational corporations, and funnel it that way to.
Even the state law says that it would become a charter district, which is analogous to a charter school, which is a private school.
It's a private school.
It gets
public
your
money.
It gets your public money, but it's run privately. And that's exactly what we would have in the entire school district.
It is taxation without representation.
If these guys get away with it. Now, the big money has already spoken, because a lot of people didn't think they would be able to get the petitions. A lot of people didn't think they would be able to get the signatures. And the Dallas Morning News, to their everlasting shame, announced that a number of volunteers were out collecting these petitions. That was a big lie, a gigantic lie, because they weren't volunteers. They were paid. The big money was hiring people to come here and get these petitions. I never doubted for a minute that they'd get the petitions, because I knew they had billionaires backing them, and that they would get the petitions, and that they would clear these other hurdles too. This is going to end up on the ballot in November. That doesn't mean we shouldn't fight them at every stage, but it does mean that big money talks. And so I was not at all surprised that they got enough signatures to get by that particular hurdle, because You can hire people if you have enough money. You can hire people to do. You can hire radio stations.
Sure.
Most radio stations are for hire. Most spokespersons are for hire. They're all working for somebody, and that somebody is a big corporation. So yeah, big corporations and big money can accomplish a whole lot of stuff. However, they cannot manufacture votes in November. So I think we're going to beat them in November.
I hope so. And I really hope that after the results of the primaries here in Texas, that a lot of not liberal, but progressive Republicans, is there such a thing? Maybe a moderate Democrat. I mean, moderate Republican.
I heard some of the moderate Republicans in the last election, and I had to laugh. Moderate.
I know. Well, I'm always hoping that there's somebody on that side that has left a bit of a brain, and I hope that they see what the Tea Party has done in other states,
right,
and that they will step up and vote.
Well, that's enough of our opinions right now. Let's listen to some of your opinions. Thanks for calling KNON. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How's it going?
Good.
Good. Hey, yeah, I just wanted to let there's definitely a force against us, against basically the human race here in the United States. Not just poor people, but almost everybody. There's the top 20% wants everything.
Mm-hmm.
These people that claim they want free markets, let the free market decide, or the market decides. They're going to end up enslaving us, and there'll be people for sale on the side of the street there.
I don't think they're going to get that, but I think you're right. That's what they want.
Yeah, well, it's going to be to the point where they're going to liberally say it's all right to sell human beings, because it's like, what type of life are we going to have when these people, do privatize the schools? When, what type of life are we going to have when we don't have health care?
That's right.
And so we're going to sell ourselves into slavery because we want health care. We want education. We want a life. And so I'm telling you, people got to get their stuff together and run for office. Now, Keisha Rogers just got beat by David Almeen for Senate.
Thank God.
She's just a local girl from Houston, and she raised over $100,000.
Mm-hmm. Wonder who from?
David Almeen spent $9 million of his own dollars to beat Keisha Rogers.
Well, Keisha Rogers is not even a Democrat. She's right.
Yeah,
she ran as a Democrat, but she is not a Democrat.
Keisha Rogers is a LaRouche.
There you go.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt Democrats. We believe in trade tariffs that protect humanity from slave wages. We believe in good government that protects human beings.
You think the LaRouche program was a good program?
It is a good program. I used to work for LaRouche for 9 months.
You don't mind the fact that Keisha Rogers had billboards saying that we should impeach President Obama?
I agree with that 100%.
Oh, interesting.
Very.
Go ahead. Tell us why.
Well, Barack Obama is a Hoover Republican.
A Hoover
he's
Republican.
He's not an FDR Democrat.
So Keisha Rogers really is a Democrat, and Obama is not. This is amazing.
Interesting.
You heard it first here on KNON, folks.
That's right.
Go ahead, brother.
Well, who were the people forged slavery during the Civil War? Were they Democrats or were they Republicans?
They were Democrats.
That's right.
At that time in history.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. And this time in history, the Republicans and the Democrats are the same.
So President Obama is for slavery. Gosh, you heard it, folks.
That's right. You heard it here first.
KNON. You heard it here. Go ahead, brother. You're just fascinating me.
All right, good. If Obama was alive back in the 1800s, he would be working for the British East India Petroleum Company.
He wouldn't be a slave? Kind of according to what part of the country he came from, I guess.
It'd be Uncle Tom. Obama is an example of an Uncle Tom.
I see.
Really?
Okay, well, we appreciate your call. Thanks for calling KNON.
Have a great day.
We like to get all kinds of opinions, and yours included, 972-647-1893. By the way, Bonnie,
Yes, sir.
is it not true that the AFL-CIO succeeded in every one of the races that they made endorsements in?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Some idiot publicized the idea that they had endorsed Kiki Friedman, and he was.
Hey, I voted for him. I'm sorry. I like Kiki.
He was called on the carpet for this.
Oh.
They did not endorse Kiki Friedman. We should make that clear.
Nope.
And I apologize because I'm the idiot that.
Oh, you are?
Did.
Oh, did you
I don't
get
know
in
where
trouble?
I got the idea.
Did you get in trouble?
It was because of the Dallas Morning News, I guess. The Dallas Morning News endorsed Kiki
Well,
Friedman.
yeah. Why not?
And I read that thing every day. So
Me too. Do you remember his
mind?
Do you remember his campaign slogan when he ran for governor?
No.
Kiki Friedman for governor. Why the hell not? I liked it. I thought it was good. It's catchy.
Well, anyway, the unions did not endorse him, and the fact that he lost goes right along with the perfect score. I think the AFL-CIO got a perfect score. Isn't that true, Rosemary Rieger? That the AFL-CIO got a perfect score in the runoff race in the primary.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
That's what
I know they
happened,
were.
yeah.
I know they were very interested in Susan Motley for a state rep in the Irving Grand Prairie area, and I know she won handily. She won by big numbers.
Yeah.
Keisha Rogers, who was supported by the guy who just called, lost pretty importantly. He said that she raised $100,000, and I've been really wondering. I've always wondered where the LaRouches got their money.
Yeah.
They have been around.
Oh gosh.
They call themselves around the left, but really the things they do end up working for the right. And I've always wondered where they got their money. But he says that she raised $100,000. I know she had a billboard.
Yeah.
Right outside of Dallas, because I got a picture of it. It says "Impeach Obama." And what a strange campaign that was.
And how can you call
They definitely
yourself
did not endorse her, but the people that they did endorse got elected, including David Alamil. They got the Democratic nomination for Senate. That doesn't mean he's going to be the senator. It means he's going to
run against John Cornyn. That's right.
He's going to have the right to run for it in November. And some people are saying, one of them is Steve Blow, the columnist for the Dallas Morning News, is saying that the fact that the far right triumphed in the Texas primaries is going to give the Democrats a leg up.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm
Coming
hoping.
elections. I would love to see that. But
Come on, Gene, a little positive thought here. Come
It all
on.
depends on turnout. In other words, it's up to you, brothers and sisters
That's right.
out there
That's right.
that may be listening. It's completely up to you, because if they had the same people voting in November, if they had the same people that voted in the primaries, the Democrats would go down. Only 20% of the vote in the primary went to the Democrats. The total amount of vote. 80% of the vote in the primaries went to the Republicans. Of course, they were getting all the publicity, all the radio stations and all the television stations
All the
were
nasty
talking about them and not
commercials.
about any of the Democratic races.
All the nasty commercials.
And they had millions and millions of dollars spent throwing mud at each other.
Man, pulling out somebody's
So-
mental health records from 30 years ago. Come on.
But if brothers and sisters of Radio Land and brothers and sisters everywhere, if they don't vote, they're going to get something that they
that you
really
don't
don't
want.
deserve.
And you know,
and
if the
that they don't want.
99% vote, the 1% won't matter.
It's true. 972-647-1893. We're getting kind of far afield from talking with Rosemary Rieger of Jobs with Justice.
Sorry.
About ALEC. And I want to ask Rosemary, why should people come to a protest about ALEC? Because a lot of people have never been on a protest in their life. What would cause them to come out for this one? Or why should they?
To show support that we're against this, to show support that we don't approve of ALEC's agenda of putting profits before people, and one way to make that public, since we don't have the money to buy off big ads and put ads on TV and things like that, is to go out and in the public, and come together join the movement. Media will turn out to, when a lot of people get together, the TV stations will come, and then more people can see the opposition and get empowered.
But does it work? You said a while ago, earlier in the program, you said that some of the big corporations, including Walmart, have publicly distanced themselves from ALEC.
That's right, and because of this growing movement of opposition, people have shown that, made it public, and now corporations have pulled out. They have listened, and it has reduced the funding for ALEC, and we need to do more. They're still quite powerful, but we're consumers too, so we can choose where to buy our things and where to put our money, get our gas from Exxon or not, or whatever. And so there is some amount of leverage there.
And you should go online and Google Koch brothers, and you will see all of the products that are made by companies that they own.
The Koch brothers are big financiers of ALEC.
Sparkle paper towels. Those are
Dixie cups.
I
was just checking some of the cups.
Right. No, mine's good.
It surprises you. Everybody will be talking in a meeting about how much they hate the Koch brothers, and they'll be sipping coffee out of a Dixie cup.
Out of a Dixie cup, exactly.
Because Dixie cups are very, very popular, and the Koch brothers owns that. But mostly they own big oil, so you're not going to be able to boycott them very much because they're big oil people. The best political advice I ever received, the best guidance I ever received in political activities is this: the cockroaches don't like the light.
I love that.
They can buy the TV stations, and they can buy the radio stations, they can buy the newspapers, they can buy the books, and they can buy the movies, but if you can get enough people together, you can shed some light, and the cockroaches will run. So that's why we try to gather a lot of people together. That's why we have big demonstrations. They had big demonstrations in Egypt. They overthrew the government.
That's right.
They had big demonstrations in Libya. They overthrew the government. Big demonstrations in Ukraine. They overthrew the government. So people don't think that there's nothing you can do. Just because you don't have billions of dollars and you don't own any radio stations except this one, there's still stuff you can do. And you've still got 2 feet.
That's right.
You've still got a pair of shoes, and you can get out and join with other people and make a difference.
And if for some reason you can't. If you are unable to, man, if you can dial a phone, you can make phone calls.
Let's let Rosemary Rieger talk about her next meetings and get people to come out, give out a phone number, whatever you've got, because we're out of time.
All right. So our next meeting is on June 11th at 1408 North Washington Avenue at 6:30. This is our anti-privatization, anti-ALEC coalition. So come to that. Then the next day on the 12th, we have our fundraiser with Ann Feeney, and it's called For Pete's Sake, and it's a tribute to Pete Seeger. It's also at 1408 North Washington, and it starts at 7. And there's a suggested donation of $10 to $25, depending on what you can give us, but no one will be turned away. So please come and help us raise funds.
That's going to be fun. Yeah, that's going to be really fun.
You need to see Ann Feeney if you haven't already seen her. You need to see her.
I'm excited.
And then the Walmart actions. Don't forget to join us on June 3rd at 3501 Camp Bowie Boulevard in Fort Worth at 4:15, or at 6 o'clock then at 9:15 East Randall Mills Road in Arlington.
Thanks to Rosemary Rieger for coming. Thanks to Bonnie for being here, and thank you for listening. See you next week.
See you next week.
KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.